Coventry Ricoh Roundabout ahead, I'm going to turn right for Prologis Park. So I've just checked my mirrors and signalled right, as well as my blind spot before I moved over. I've taken up a position in the right-hand lane. You can see the sign there says it's the third exit. I'm now going to apply my signal on the approach to the roundabout, but keeping an eye on the lights ahead. The lights at the moment are on green. We can see a speed limit sign that's telling us it's 30 miles an hour on the roundabout. So on the approach, I'm going to take up a position in this right-hand lane. And the lights are changing to red, so I'm going to gently brake at the line, and that gives me an opportunity just to point out where we're going to position here. So you'll see the road ahead to the right as we go around the roundabout is splitting up into 4 lanes. Now, as we want the third exit, the second exit is ahead of us. So at this point, we're spiralling out to the left because we actually want the next exit off. So by following this white line to the left of the car, it brings us nicely to this first lane. The lights are on red ahead, so I'm going to gently brake, stop at the line, apply the handbrake and into neutral. So if we were turning for Holbrooks here, this is the point at which we'd signal left, because the next exit off, just before the one for straight on for Prologis Park, is left for Holbrooks. This is the point that would signal left. However, I'm not going to signal left because I am following the direction for Holbrooks. The lights have now changed, so as we go around, I'm just making sure I've got a nice position in the middle of my lane. So, and the lights are now on red. We're now passing the left turn for Holbrooks, and we're going to follow the road ahead. Handbrake is on. The lights are just changing. So it was 30 miles an hour on the roundabout. It's still 30 miles an hour on this part of the road. We've not got a 40 mile an hour sign until just ahead of us. I'm just going to hold back a little bit, let this old van pass. And then before we speed up, I'm going to check my centre right mirror. The gas goes on, the gear goes up, and then make progress up to the maximum speed, 40 miles an hour. But all the time thinking about my separation gap, keeping a 2-second rule distance between me and the vehicles in front. On the approach to the Ricoh Roundabout, we're going to be following the road ahead, signposted City Centre. The lane that we're in now splits up into 2 lanes, and I'm going to stay out to the right of this lane because I want lane 2. There are 4 lanes on the approach here. I'm in lane 2, the lights have just changed, so I'm going to gently stop at the line. So as we've stopped, I can point out here that we've got a choice of 4 lanes ahead of us. Lane 1, 2 and 3 are all to go straight on, second exit. So I'm going to choose lane 2 to follow the road ahead, for reasons I'll tell you about a little later. Okay, so just moving off here, so I'm following the lane around, staying in lane 2, just keeping an eye on the lights, make sure they're not going to change. And I'm going to not signal off at this point because it might be confusing, there is a lane change. So I chose lane 2 because in times of busy traffic it's an easier lane to choose. Lane 1 actually turns into a dedicated lane to turn left for the Ricoh Arena. I could have chosen lane 3, that would have brought me out in the right hand lane where I am now, and then I would have needed to move over to this middle lane to proceed towards the city centre. So I'm just going to check my centre right mirror before I slow. The lights are on red, and I'm going to slowly pull up behind the car, nicely in control, keeping a good distance, at least tyres and tarmac, back from the car. We're on the approach to the Ricoh Roundabout, when we're going to follow the road ahead for Nuneaton, signposted Nuneaton. So in this left-hand lane we've got a major set of traffic lights coming up, and you'll see that the lane markings say M6, so we want this left-hand lane to begin with. And I'm gently pulling up, having checked my centre right mirror before I slowed, keeping tyres and tarmac behind the minibus ahead. So I've got a choice here. I can either put the gear into neutral, or I can be prepared waiting for the lights to change. How confident you feel about your pull away is entirely up to you. You might want to prepare yourself a little bit earlier before the lights change, or you might want to wait until the lights change to amber like I'm doing now. So as we move off from these lights, I'll point out which is the best lane to be in on the approach. So just checking my centre right mirror and my left mirror here before I pull away. Giving time for this minibus to move off, don't want to get too close to him, maintaining a safety gap at all times. So the lane that we're in actually splits up into two. And so on the approach we've got 4 lanes. So here we go, so the lanes are now splitting up into 2, and you can see now there are 4 lanes. We're actually going to stay within lane 2. That's because lane 1 turns into a dedicated left, as you can see now, heading towards Holbrooks. So as we approach, we're going to keep our eye on the lights ahead. They're on green at the moment. Past our point of no return where we can stop safely, the car behind. Just going to check my centre left mirror, staying in this outside lane, inside lane, signalling left. And now the speed limit's changed to 50, just checking my centre right mirror and making progress. Approaching the roundabout from Winding House Lane with Prologis Park behind me, we're just going to turn right at the roundabout, following the signs for City Centre. It's the 3rd exit. So on the approach here, I'm keeping to the right hand side of the road as it splits up into 2 lanes. The traffic lights ahead are in red, so I'm just going to gently brake, thinking about taking up a nice distance if we have to stop behind the car ahead. The lights have just changed, so I've chosen an appropriate gear to move off in, and you'll see that the lanes ahead, I've got 3 now, and I'm going to pick lane 2, which is I could have also chosen lane 3. I'll tell you the reasons why I chose lane 2 in a second. So I've just taken up a position behind this car, and we're just waiting for the lights to change. Now, with any roundabout, lane discipline is important. It's important that you stay within your lane, because that's where other drivers are expecting you to be. Wandering over lanes can be hazardous and a danger to other vehicles. So lane discipline is crucially important. So while we're waiting for the lights here to change, they've just changed I just changed to green. I'm checking all centre, right mirror and left mirror before I pull away. So we're just going to follow our lane marking. You can see it's taking us over to the middle lane, lane 3, which is the one we want. Now ahead of us we've got a choice, and I'm going to stick into lane 2 here. The lights are on green, so we can carry on. In lane 2 you wouldn't signal off because it would be confusing and we might be changing lanes. So I chose lane 2 here because lane 1 in a second turns into a dedicated lane for the turn off for the Ricoh Arena, which is not what we want. And in times of busy traffic, you might want to choose this preferred lane, as it would be much easier than changing from lane 1 into lane 2 where I am now. Now on the approach to the roundabout, I also said there was a lane 3. If I'd chosen lane 3, I'd now be in the lane to the right of me, which I would then need to perform a manoeuvre to move over to the left-hand lane at some later stage after we came off the roundabout.